Yeah, I mean, in our last interview, Boosie said that he's looking into buying a town in Georgia, a whole town.
That's dope.
More people should do that.
I'm finna looking into buying this town, and I'm gonna try to do a whole black town. We're gonna do everything black, bro. We're gonna have our own polices, our own rules, everything, you know. So I'm going to the bank tomorrow to look into getting my own town, bro.
Like a Tulsa, like a Black Wall Street kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
Getting my own town, bro.
I'll come through. I'll visit.
Hell yeah.
I'll be welcome there.
Hell yeah, man.
everyone's going to know me there.
Best food, best everything.
Yeah, there's a town here I wanted to buy called, it was $1 million. It's called Harmony. It's a mile long and a mile, it's a square mile, it's a complete square. Everybody said, oh, what's that? Well, Beverly Hills is 4 miles square. Yeah. That's it. So if you can get 4 miles square and you can build a Beverly Hills, that's what we do. I got 300, well, my family, I have 3 acres of the 350 acres we have in Charleston, South Carolina, which is the birthplace for slavery in America. That's where the first boats landed, Spanish boats with their slaves. The Spaniards didn't like it. They got back on their boat and left the slaves, and that's the Gully Islands. So that's the original part of it. My family's from that. We got 350 acres, not too far from town. Convincing my aunt to let me buy that and build would be amazing.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
But, you know, once again, you got to have people that's on your team in the same way. When Kanye said, you know, slavery was a choice. And again, Kanye, one of my favorite. They do soundbite him because he's on their network. So you're not going to get anything truth or put properly when you're on somebody else's network. Point, when you say they. I watched Anderson Cooper break down this black doctor, the Nigerian lady, and go and show her YouTube piece playing behind her as she's being an evangelist. And they played it for a whole 2 minutes. And he went on to talk about how crazy she was. No one said shit. Let me tell you something. There was 7 doctors. She was one of the 7. She was one that spoke. There was 3 other white guys who spoke right after her. One who started, then she came on, and then 3 after her. This is crazy shit. If you go to Nigeria, the way she's preaching is how they preach. That's the way they preach the gospel. The fact that they took her faith and put it in the way of her going to school and being educated as a doctor is a whole nother thing. And I watch the liberal station of CNN, just like they do with Don Lemon, and they sit down and they go piece by piece and they don't move. And they don't do news, they do commentary. They let Anderson Cooper and Don Lemon say what they want like they're speaking from their hearts. They say, hey, they do the same thing on Hannity. They do. So I paid attention. Fox does this. CNN does this. We argue and talk about what's going on and do nothing.
Well, let me just say, and I actually found these videos. Stella Immanuel, the doctor that you're talking about, she's Nigerian?
Yeah.
Okay. Not only did she say that there's no reason to wear masks because, you know...
Fauci said it too.
Because the drug... Fauci said it?
Fauci said it in
the beginning?
In March. I'll send it to you.
She also stated that drugs are created from alien DNA, that women's vaginal problems come from them having dreams about having sex with demons, and also that a lot of people in government are actually human. They're reptiles pretending to be human. So
she talked about the reptilian race.
Yes. You're not going to defend this, are you?
I'm
going to walk out.
I'm going to walk out of your own show.
I'm going to walk out of my own interview.
All right. So
if you're trying to defend the reptilians,
let me give it to you. I'm going to give it to you where it comes from, because once you find out where this comes from, Vlad, you start realizing
it comes from insanity. But go on.
Right.
It comes from putting your head in a microwave. But go on.
So there were giants on the planet. Right? They found skulls and skulls and skulls in all different places of giants, taller than me, some 8 foot, 9 foot, whatever. There was always giants on the planet.
Really?
Yeah. That's a true statement. There was always these tall, and you can see the largest skulls. They even found giants in Mexico, where most of the people were really, really small. So they find these giants and these big bodies all over the world, so that we call them anomalies. In the Bible, which is a trip, when Satan was thrown to earth and the demons that come with him were having sex with women in America and on the planet. So then they decided, hey, we're going to write another story in the Bible about Noah. And they flooded the earth to kill off that demon seed. That's in the Bible. I ain't make it up. I didn't make it up.
Right.
The story that she's...
Although the Bible does make up a lot of stuff.
Hey,
this is not exactly...
People kind of like me now. Don't want to get... I already got on the Democrats and the Republicans. You don't want me to get on exactly
on
what's
Christians
up with the
and well, I guess technically, if you're talking about the Old Testament, you're talking about Christian, Muslims, and
well,
Jews.
the Old Testament is...
You're talking about Noah and everything else like
right,
that.
But it's connected to the Torah. The New
Exactly.
Testament was written
is Jesus
so
Christ.
they can eat meat. Yeah.
Right. Listen, man.
But this is the deal. I'm only saying, this is what I'm saying, because you and I are saying the same thing. Where you're going to get your information is the same place I'm going to get from my information. That's what the problem is. That was the same problem when they started burning books and destroying things, because they knew if they don't have anywhere to get the information, they got to take what we tell them.
Right. But, I mean, Kanye said that Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves.
What he meant by it, he said she didn't really free the slaves.
She took him to go work for another white man.
What he meant by that is we didn't own anything. So even when we got freed and went somewhere, we had to work. We had to work for another white dude because we didn't own anything. We didn't own any farm. That's what he meant.
But there's a big difference between those two situations. But that is that you can quit your job up north. You can't quit slavery.
Not in 1950. No, okay,
yes,
but when you got out,
you could decide not to go to work that next day.
No.
Yes.
It sounds cool.
You could decide not to work at that company the next day, and you could go to a different town.
Not as a black person.
And go find another job.
You know what Kanye didn't realize, which I realized, is when I went to visit my friend Romy in prison, who was held there for the past 17, 15 years unjustly, get Horatio out. I even took a package and handed it off to Van Jones to hand it off to, if they really wanted to help somebody, help me. Me and Busta Rhymes still trying to get my man out of jail. I went to visit him in this part of South Carolina, part of Georgia, right at the tip. And when I'm driving, I'm realizing they put this prison way out in the, it wasn't one of those prisons you see like when you go to New Jersey, you see it right by the airport. This was way back. And I started realizing if the prison is that far back and there's a prison break, there's no way of getting from that prison to the highway without them catching you. None. So the highway is 12 miles away. They feel if you get out, they can get you within that 12 miles if you're on foot. So imagine if you were at a plantation and you ran away from this plantation. You run into this plantation. You run from Mr. Johnson's farm to Mr. Jefferson's farm. There's no way out. If you go to a slaughterhouse now where they have cows, which you're not allowed to film because then you would, be able to see that that's another form of slavery, plantation, and murder and concentration camps. But anyway, when you go to that and you see it, when a cow gets out or a pig finally gets to the point and gets out, they laugh because they just, as it's dead tide they just ride alongside because it's going to go right. They say, hey, if you get out of this slaughterhouse cow, you're just going to go to the pig slaughterhouse, which is down the road. There's no way out. So when he was thinking that, he didn't understand that Harriet Tubman was sneaking people from one slave plantation to another slave plantation, but the owners didn't know. Because they had so many slaves, they didn't know who was theirs and not theirs, especially when they had big workers. So she would go from one plantation, they were sleeping, going into another one, because she had to get them out of the plantation sector in order to take them up north, which ended in Detroit, right at the Red Barn. And at the Red Barn, literally, they started waiting and they started figuring out where these slaves were going to be. And that's why Detroit is just covered in blood and murder since the beginning of time, because these slaves were like, the slave catchers were just waiting in Detroit. So Detroit River is full of slave blood because they were like, if you get across this river over to Ontario, you're free. Slave catchers was on that side too. So he didn't get to the whole, what he was saying, trying to be fast and saying it. He didn't. They need to explain how she went from place to place. And don't pay attention. The movie, great cinema and great actress, but is way dirtier than that. I just have to say.